Last session we were trying to understand what is the meaning of business environment and what are the features of business environment. Now we are going into the next subtopic, that is whether business environment is important, or what is the importance of business environment in business, or why business must understand about the external things or those factors which are outside the business which affects the business, or what is the need of that. You have to understand a word called environmental scanning. Environmental scanning. You have to understand a term called environment scanning. What is environment scanning? It is just analyzing and understanding of business environment. Understanding of business environment. So, environmental scanning is the analysis on and understanding of business environment, and that is what is giving importance to business environment. And we are doing this analyzing, we are doing this analysis, and we are understanding business environment so as to respond or adapt. So as to respond or adapt to this environment. So for understanding and to respond or to adapt to the situations in such a way that it is benefiting the business, we are analyzing, we are understanding business environment, and that is what we call by the name environmental scanning. Environment scanning. And this environment scanning is same as what we are saying why we must think of business environment, or importance of business environment, importance of analyzing and understanding business environment, whether it is required or not in the business. That is what we are going to think in this session. Now, some of the reasons why we are saying that business environment, understanding of business environment or environmental scanning is important, because can be listed as follows. So, importance of business environment. Importance of business environment. Importance of business environment. First thing which give importance to business environment is that business environment helps to identify the opportunities and give first mover advantage. It helps to identify opportunities and get first mover advantage Now, what is opportunity? You have to understand, opportunity simply means that those are positive trends. Those are positive trends or changes which can help business to improve its performance. Possibilities which helps business in a better way. Positive things, positive trends, positive things happening around which can help the business to improve its performance. At a time in India, cars were a bit, what to say, even though it was Maruti, it was Ambassador and Fiat, it was costly. So, at that time, Maruti Udyog Limited brought in Maruti 800, which was an economic car. So, they understood there is a possibility, there is a trend, even people with average income also would like to travel in a four-wheeler. So, they understood, they analyzed, they diagnosed that opportunity. So, that was a trend, going in a car. At a time, the concept was having a car was a mark of their what to say, standard. So, automatically Maruti understood that is a positive trend, that is a positive change. People would like to go for a car, and they introduced what to say, economic cars, Maruti 800. Compared to the other cars, cost was comparatively less, and that helped them to improve the performance, and they were the first persons to think about that, and that is what we are saying about first mover advantage. So, opportunities, positive trends and changes were diagnosed. They were able to make a move before their competitors were moving. They were able to go for a move better than their competitors, and instead of losing it to the competitors, they benefited the firm. When they made the move before other competitors come with economic cars, they made the first move. They didn't give it up to the competitor, or they didn't lose it to the competitors, and that is what is called first mover advantage. So, if we are able to understand the business environment, we will be able to find out the possible changes, possible trends which can benefit the business, and we can make the move before our competitors are doing that, and that can very positively affect a business. Positive effect, or it will benefit the business in a very better way. So, that is one of the reason why understanding of business environment becomes important. Business environment is important because they can serve as, or they can give the firm first mover advantage by identifying the opportunities, by identifying the external trends and changes which are positive. So, that is one reason for importance of business environment. Second thing they are saying is that, second thing which brings in importance is that it helps to identify the threats. It helps to identify threats and serves as warning signal, and serves as warning signals. Serves as warning signals. As we have said in the first point, positive external trends or changes. When we come to threats, there can be trends and changes which can hinder the business. which can hinder the business. So that also must be considered. Many things when we are able to find a substitute for it, and if it is less costly, people would tend to go behind that. So we have to identify the possible trends and changes which will hinder, or there can be changes, there can be trends which can act as a hindrance to the business. When we are analyzing business environment, we will be able to identify those things, those threats, and they serve as a warning signal. They serve as a warning signal. That particular idea which is differentiating my product from other product. If another company is able to get into that, or if another company is coming with a close substitute to that, and if it is less cost compared to our product, people can go there. That's a possible threat. Or if a company comes up with a better idea of ours, that's a possible threat for our company. So there we have to understand it is a warning signal. It is time for us to change. We have to think in a different way. So those changes and trends which can hinder the performance can be identified when we analyze business environment, and it can serve as a warning signal to us. So considering this warning signals, what we have to do is that necessary measures should be adopted and we must prepare ourselves to face these changes, face these trends which can badly affect our company. So that is also another thing which is bringing in importance for business environment. It serves, or it helps to identify the threats and serves as warning signals. That is the second thing which brings in importance for business environment. Third one they are saying is that it helps in tapping resources. It helps in tapping useful resources. Helps in tapping useful resources. Almost all the resources which are being used in a business comes from the society, or environment is source of various resources for business. Almost all the resources used by business comes from the environment, external environment. The environment around the business is providing them with resources, or in simple words we can say that society provides business with necessary resources. So when we are using these resources, they are giving these resources, or environment is giving us resources expecting something in return from the enterprise. It is expecting something in return from enterprise. So resources will be given to the business firm, or resources the business firm can get only when the enterprise is able to design policies in such a way that these resources is being converted into output what environment desires. When we are taking something from society, society expects something from business for giving. When society is giving resources to the business, society expects something in return from business. So, in order to make sure that business is giving back what is expected by the society, business have to understand what is environment, why environment is providing with these resources, and what they are expecting back in return. Then only they can have more of resources from the environment. So, for getting resources, for tapping resources from the environment, business have to positively respond to the desire of environment, and for that we need to have an idea regarding what is business environment, what is their expectation when they are providing us with resources. So, that is another aspect which brings in importance for business environment. The fourth point is that it helps in coping up with changes, helps coping with rapid changes, helps coping with rapid changes, with rapid changes. Coping with the rapid changes. Now, if you are looking into business environment, we have seen one of the feature of business environment is it is dynamic in nature. That means it is subject to change. And if you are looking at changes, you can see that today what we are seeing is not what we are seeing tomorrow, or it goes in business environment, the things around and inside and around the business is increasingly dynamic. It is very much in nature. Too many changes are happening. And another thing you have to understand is these changes are happening in a very fast pace. It's going in a very fast pace. So, if you want to stay, if a business want to stay in the business, we have to effectively cope up. We have to effectively withstand with changes in such a way that it is having a positive impact in business. So, for having stay in the business atmosphere, or in order to be in the competitive field, business has to develop suitable courses of action according to the changes happening. So, that is another feature. For understanding of business environment helps us to cope up with the changes, That is also another factor which is helping us, or business environment is helping us. Understanding of business environment can helps in developing suitable course of action for the changes happening inside business, helps in coping with rapid changes. So, that is another factor which is bringing in importance. The fifth one is that the fifth one which brings in importance for business environment is that it assists in planning and policy formulation, assists in planning and policy formulation. It assists in planning and policy formulation. When we are able to understand the positive trends, positive changes. When we are able to understand the negative trends and negative changes, we are designing things, or business is taking necessary steps in order to handle it to the benefit, to the protection. When it is positive changes, we are considering it, we are taking it to consideration, and we are trying to get the maximum benefit out of it. At the same time, when it is a threat, business is finding out courses of or developing suitable course of action in order to handle it. For that, this understanding of business environment is very important, or this can act as a basis for deciding future course of action. The understanding, the idea we have about the business, the environment outside the business, or the factors or the individuals or the institutions outside the business, the idea we are having act as a base for developing future course of action. So, we can say that business environment, understanding business environment or business environment factors, when we are analyzing, we can consider it as a base for our policy formulation, base for our plans which are to be made in order to make our business go to a successful stage. So, that is also another factor which brings in important. It is assisting in planning and policy formulation. And the last one is, and the last thing which brings in importance is that it helps in improving performance. It helps in improving performance. Improving performance. It helps in improving performance. Now, when we are talking about it, and a business which is working, the future of a business is very closely associated with what is happening in the environment. A business need to have a vigilant watch over what is happening around it. Only when a business is able to understand even the minutest things which is happening outside the business can positively or positively respond to it or take necessary precautionary measures, whatever be. So, continuous monitoring and adopting suitable business practices is something which is helping the improvement of performance. So, that is also another factor. Only when we are understanding what are the things happening, what are the forces happening outside the business, we will be able to come up with better business practices which can in turn develop present performance and make sure that business stays in the picture for a longer period. So, understanding of business environment, understanding of what is happening outside the business, understanding of forces outside the business helps us to adopt a suitable performance and make sure that the performance of business at present goes on well and the business stays in the picture for a longer time. And that is all about the factors which are helping or which are bringing out the importance of business environment.